This year, I am not trying to read more books. I'm trying to read better. So I'm committing to just 12 books, 6 classics and 6 nonfictions. And I want to show you a way that I'm actually planning to do it that fits my real life. And will hopefully fit yours as well if you want to give this challenge a go as well. Let's get into today's video. Let me get a quick sip of my not so hot tea that has been sitting here for a little while. Alright, well, welcome to another video. If you're new here, hello, my name is Shelby, and I am so happy to have you here. Today, for this video, I'm going to be talking about my realistic reading goal that I have this year. The previous years has been more of how many books can I read in a year, and although I think at the time that was fun and it felt doable and felt fresh in a way, it is now, to me, it feels kind of tiring and overwhelming to, I guess in the way how I kind of think, is to continue to one-up myself. And last year I reached my ultimate goal. I was trying to ease my way and work my way up, but my ultimate reading goal was to eventually get to being able to read 100 books in a year again. I had done that a few years back, but it has been quite some time since I've been able to do that, and I finally actually managed that, and that was stressful because it didn't need to be that serious. But long story made short, I am throwing away that crazy number count of how many books can I read in a year, and I want to focus more on being able to read better. Now, a lot of people are going to take reading better in different contexts. For me, what that looks like is reading books that are going to broaden my horizons, whether that is reading something that's more knowledge based, or something that I can learn from, self-growth, whatever it may be. Also, being able to read classic literature where I'm exposing myself to different writing styles, different language, and a whole new library of stories that I haven't dived into yet. So, with that being said, my plan for this year is to read 12 specific books, okay? Now, this is not going to be the amount of books that I'm going to read in a year. I don't actually know what that's going to be. I set my reading goal for 30 books this year, I believe, and I'm already well ahead of schedule. Not intentionally, just because I'm reading because I want to read and not because I feel like I have to. And so far, I have read some pretty good books. I'm very happy about it. I will be filming a reading wrap-up pretty soon here, so you can look forward to seeing that. Which, now that I think about it, I guess I need to film that. Now, with that being said, I am going to be specifically focusing on 12 books. So, I feel like I'm kind of scattered and all over the place, but I hope you're following me. The goal is to alternate. So I want to read 6 nonfictions and 6 classics. Classics I have been really getting more into since the, I guess, end of last year. So like September, August time frame going into the rest of the year is when I really started to feel more like grounding myself and reading more of like classic literature. As I stated previously, my plan is to read 12 specific books this year. Now, my reading goal is not going to be 12. I have set a reading goal. What it will look like by the end of the year, I do not know, but I'm not making it some grand goal like I managed to do last year, which was 100 books. I'm keeping it more simplified because I want to focus on reading more. I want to focus on reading better and not reading just for the sake of reading and saying that I checked off this book, this book, this book. We're not doing that this year. So, my reading goal is 30. But I want to read 12 specific books. So let's talk a little bit about how that is going to work. My idea for this came about when I was like, you know what? I really do want to start investing a little bit more into what I am consuming. I have a tendency of overconsumption. Let's just keep it simple and put it that way. And so I really wanted to simplify that and start honing in on things that I am enjoying, and also broadening my horizons with what I'm reading. So experiencing new types of language in books, new writing styles, and hopefully also learning some self-help, self-growth kind of tips along the way. So I decided to make a list of some nonfiction books that I kind of wanted to read, and I did that at the end of last year. And then I was like, you know what, it's time to tackle one of those books. And as I was reading that, I said, I also really want to read a classic. And then in my head, I was like, oh my God, I have a genius idea. I am going to read one nonfiction and then one classic. And then that's when this whole thing kind of started to build. So what this is going to actually look like is each month I'm either going to read a classic or a nonfiction. I'm going to alternate it so it does not feel overwhelming and I don't feel like I'm getting bored, because I am not a nonfiction girly at all. I really don't enjoy them. I actually know what, I don't want to say that I don't enjoy them. I just don't gravitate towards them. I don't really want to read a book to sit there and feel like I have to learn something from it. Even I feel like that's such a weird thing to say, because even if it's a fiction book, I feel like you can still learn from fiction books, but I guess it's not one of those, I don't want to read a book that's going to tell me these are the things that I should work on in my life. I don't want to feel that scene when I'm reading. I want to escape reality, okay? Not face it. But with that being said, this is the year. We've got to put in some work, okay? We've got to put in some work. So I've already started off on my first nonfiction of the year. I figured let's just dive headfirst with the thing that we do not want to tackle, or that feels like the hardest thing to tackle. So I've started reading a nonfiction book. In just a second, I am gonna go ahead and tell you the books that I plan to read, both my six nonfictions and my 6 classics. But I am very, very excited to go on this journey. So if you are also someone that is looking to maybe broaden your horizons, explore different genres, explore new reads, new authors, whatever it may be, then maybe why don't you go ahead and join me on this journey? And if any of the books that I list here sound appealing to you, put them on your list and maybe we can read these together this year. I am so excited. All right, so a lot of the nonfictions I don't actually have, and I don't know if I will actually buy them, but I'll explain more here in a second. And if you're wondering why I'm looking off the screen, I have my computer here. I'm going to be referencing to my notes to kind of tell you the books because I've listed everything. Anyways, the first book I actually have a physical copy of, and it's not my copy. Well, what's mine is his and his is mine, okay? But this is Anthony's, and he's a big nonfiction reader, so I've turned to him to kind of figure out what is a good nonfiction to read. I had a list of some books, and then I just one day was like, what do you think I could start off with? And he suggested this book, and this is Outwitting the Devil, and this is by Napoleon Hill. The title threw me off. And the first 2 chapters are definitely a lot for me to try to take in, because it's a lot of background story on how this book got published. What's happening? How this book got published, all sorts of stuff. So it is taking me a little bit longer to feel like I am getting into this book, but I don't think that that is anything due to the book. That's just me when it comes to nonfiction. I feel like I really need to focus when it comes to a nonfiction book versus when it comes to reading a fiction book. Yes, I have to focus, but it's a lot easier for those books to hold my attention because it is a lot of
what's gonna come next? Where is this character gonna end up? What's gonna happen here?
There's a lot of questions that I want answered, and I won't be able to find out those answers until I continue to read. This is more just conversations between this author and the devil, which is an interesting concept, but a lot. And also, I think sometimes gives me a little bit anxiety, if I'm being honest, but so far it is a pretty decent read. I'm hoping that as I get further in and get a better understanding and grasp over what I would like to take away from this book, hopefully by the end I'll feel way more confident in giving you an overall rating. But this is the first nonfiction that I'm reading and the first nonfiction on my list. So my next nonfiction book is going to be The Let Them Theory, and this is by Mel Robbins. Now, this was a very, very, very popular book last year. I feel like it was all over TikTok. Everybody was kind of running to Barnes and Nobles to buy it. I saw a lot of people with the books, and there's just like a lot of buzz around this book, right? I told myself I wasn't going to read this book because I felt like it was just going to give me a lot of stuff that I already kind of knew. But I also feel like that's what a lot of self-help books are, but it gives you a better understanding or a better way to relate them to yourself. So I'm like, you know what, let's give it a try. But what really told me, or what really kind of pushed me to want to read this book this year is I went to Barnes and Nobles with one of my very, very bestest friends, and she saw that book and she's like, you know, I kind of want to read it. And I was like, I've been trying to get you to read a book with me for forever. So here's the plan. We're going to get the book. We're going to spend a couple days here at Barnes and Nobles, sit down, read, and converse and talk about it, you know? So that is kind of my plan. It'll be like a little buddy read, if I can actually get her to commit. Otherwise, I guess I'm going solo. But I am excited to see what this book has to hold. I am going to just read really quickly what this quick little synopsis says, but it says the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins is a mindset tool that teaches you to stop trying to control other people's opinions, actions, and drama, and instead focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, actions, and reactions, to find more peace and happiness, which is my ultimate goal this year. I really want to learn how to manage my emotions and not let the outside world or other people affect me so much, because sometimes the littlest things can really like offset my day, and I don't love how that I don't have as much control over my emotions. So that is my next book. So I do have a lot of like self-help books on here, but I did end up also putting like 2 memoirs or memoirs of sorts on here. So the next one is a memoir. I do, if I'm going to read nonfiction, prefer reading memoirs than anything else. But this is going to be Becoming by Michelle Obama. I really would love to pick her brain and learn more about her and her experiences, and especially with just like the social and political climate the way that it is right now. I think that would just be kind of nice to see and read and learn more about. So I'm looking forward to that. Also have Breaking the Habit, and this is going to be by Joe Dispenza. And I'm trying to remember if I've read anything from this author before, but I've definitely heard his name, and that could also just be because maybe Anthony has mentioned him before. Again, like I said, he's a big nonfiction reader. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but it caught my attention just from the cover and the title. So we're gonna find out a little bit more about it now. Here's the synopsis. In Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Dr. Joe Dispenza combines the fields of quantum physics, neuroscience, brain chemistry, biology, and genetics to show you what is truly possible and how to recondition the body to create better health. That sounds pretty nice. I would love to understand how like science and your genetics and your brain chemicals and all that combine together to kind of make you the person that you are, but like also knowing that as a tool, and not a way to manipulate those things, but how to better understand them and how to use them for strengths to make yourself a better version of yourself. Sounds really, really interesting to me. So I am looking forward to reading this one. Okay, so this next book that I have is going to be another one of those books where I'm leaning more into understanding my emotions and how to better, I guess, not control, but have a better grasp or understanding of my emotions and not letting them overpower or affect everything that I do all the time. So this one is Stop Letting Everything Affect You. And this is by Daniel Chadek. I'm sorry, I really probably mispronounced this last name, but this is a self-help book that provides strategies to overcome overthinking, emotional chaos. This one right here, and self-sabotage again. A self-help book that provides strategies to overcome overthinking, emotional chaos, and self-sabotage by teaching readers to detach from negative narratives and set boundaries and shift from victimhood to empowerment. if there was any book that I needed this year, this would be the one. This basically just encapsulates everything that I'm really trying to work on and better in the like going into the future. So this one is definitely like one of those books where I'm like, gimme, and please, Shelby, future Shelby, I'm talking to you. Please learn something from this. Take notes. Take your time reading this book. Whatever you gotta do, but learn something from it and apply it to your everyday life. Thank you. Your past self appreciates you. And then I've got one more. I do have another memoir I do want to read, but I'm looking more so in terms of things that I really feel like is going to make an impact on me, things that I'm really going to take something away from. And so this last book that I have for my nonfiction is going to be Educated, and this is going to be by Tara Westover. I have heard about this book quite a bit. I've seen it around quite a lot. I love the cover. I think it is just such a subtle but brilliant cover. And it's beautiful, so it makes me want to read it even more. And Kalila, one of the YouTubers I watch on here, has talked about it quite a lot. I believe it's one of her favorite books, and so I do want to get to reading this one. I don't know a whole lot about this book, and what I did hear I don't remember, so we're going to find out more about it here in a second. But I do believe that it is more of like a, I don't know if it's necessarily considered a memoir, but more of like the author kind of like telling her story. So let's just read the synopsis, shall we? So Educated is a best-selling 2018 memoir by Tara Westover. Okay, so it is a memoir about her journey from a survivalist family in rural Idaho. That's it. Where she received no formal education and earning a PhD from Cambridge University. That is crazy. Okay, that is what I remember. So it is a memoir, which is great. I'm very excited to read a memoir. I love a good memoir. But it was the fact that she is from, like, her family's upbringing was just, I've never really heard of anything like this. Grew up in this like survivalist family, and so she really didn't have exposure to a lot of the things that most people do. One of those being education, hence why the name is Educated, which I think is brilliant. A really like good juxtaposition or play on words, but also like kudos to her for growing up in that kind of lifestyle, which I'm sure if you then go out in the world and get exposed to things, you learn very fast and very quickly that you need to have some form of education to then go on and earn a PhD from Cambridge is impressive. So I'm really looking forward to reading that and seeing what that is all about. That might be the next nonfiction that we read. That might be it. Alright, so now that we talked a little bit about nonfictions, let's get to the classics, and I'm very excited for the classics that I have on this list. So the first one is tried and true. I have read a couple of these on my list, but this one I'm just craving so bad to reread it again. So there is like a part of me that's like, hurry up and finish this in like the next 3 days so that when it's February 1st you can clock in. But that is going to be Little Women. This is by Louisa May Alcott. I love this story. If there's a classic out there that I would recommend it to anyone, but specifically young women of all ages, this would definitely be it. This one is such a heartwarming, empowering book about friendship, family, just life. It is so beautiful. I love this story. We basically follow our there's 4 sisters, as you can see depicted on this cover here, but we follow our main character Jo, and she is kind of telling the story of her upbringing and her sisters while her father is away at war, and therefore after, like everything that follows after that as well. And it is just such a beautiful story. I cry, I laugh, I just have such an amazing time reading this. Also, I would highly recommend, there is quite a lot of like movie and TV show adaptations of this, so if you are maybe not someone that is ready to necessarily dive into the physical book, but you would like to take in some form of the story just so you can get an idea of what it is, you can definitely watch any of those. But my all-time favorite is going to be the Winona Ryder version. Listen, come for me if you'd like. A lot of people love the newest one that has like Emma Watson, and I forget what the one girl's name is that plays Jo in that movie, but a lot of people love that one. That is a newer version, and it looks very beautiful. I just couldn't, when I started watching it, couldn't get into it, but I would love to give it a second chance. But the Winona Ryder version, I think that was like from like 1990 something, was so good. I love that one so much. Oh my god, I love that one so much. So yeah, this is going to be the classic that I am clearly about to read next. So February, here we come. And I think like also this time of year is the perfect time to read this book, because a lot of it does center around like winter months and Christmas and things like that. So if you are looking for a book that gives you like that cozy winter, like warm feeling, this is also a good one. My next classic that I have is going to be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I love this story as well, so this will be another reread, but I'm very, very excited to get back into it. Obviously, there is a movie adaptation with Keira Knightley. Love the movie adaptation as well. But this is just such a beautiful story, and we follow, again, it's like another family, and specifically our main character, Elizabeth Bennet. So we follow the Bennet family, but specifically Elizabeth, and it's her love story with Mr. Darcy. And I love this story so much. It is so beautiful, and this is a romance novel. This is what I want to read when I'm reading romance. I want to feel yearning. I want to be left on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen next? These two are meant to be together, aren't they? Surely they're meant to be together. What's stopping them? That's what I want. I want that. The last like physical copy that I have of the classics that I'm going to read as of right now, I think I am going to purchase all of these classics that I'm going to read, but the last physical one is one that Anthony recently picked up, and I read the synopsis and I was like, that sounds good. I do want to read this. So that is, and this is by John Williams. I just think this is going to be a very interesting read. First off, I love these covers. Can I just be honest with you guys? Like, any like classic book just has the most beautiful covers. Oh my gosh, I don't know. So Penguin, Random House, always, like, I love how their books just go beautifully together on the shelf. But this is just beautiful, and it feels very nice. A little painting. I love it. So I'm going to read the synopsis that I have here for Stoner, because if I read what is on the back, I feel like I will confuse everybody. But Stoner is a 1965 novel by John Williams, and it is a quiet, poignant story about the life of William Stoner, an unremarkable English professor at the University of Missouri, chronicling his disappointments in love, marriage, and career, and his deep solitary devotion to literature. I don't know. This just sounds really interesting, really dark. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be good. So I'm excited to read it. The next book that I have, and I'm going to put up the picture of the cover of like the book that I physically want to get, if that made sense. But it's going to be Emma by Jane Austen. Jane Austen for me is just kind of a must. I also just does really, really beautiful, sometimes not so beautiful love stories, and I'm here for it. So, and it's about a wealthy, clever heroine by the name of Emma Woodhouse. She enjoys playing matchmaker in her small village of Highbury, but her schemes backfire, leading to romantic misunderstandings and self-discovery as she learns about love and her own heart. So that one just sounds so fun. I don't think that I've actually read Emma before. I don't think I've read Emma, and I haven't seen the movie either, but I've heard a lot about Emma, and I know at least a good bit about what the story kind of entails. So I'm very excited to read this book. It just sounds so cute and so fun, and just, I don't know. it looks like it'll be a good read. So that'll be another classic that I want to read. The next book that I have for my classics is going to be Jane Eyre, and this is by Charlotte Bronte. I have not read this book before, so this will be exciting. And I every time go to Barnes and I see the Penguin Classics, I'm always really drawn to this cover. So again, I'm gonna put up the version that I plan to buy, but I'm going to, of course, get the Penguin Classics because I just think these will look just so pretty all lined up together on my shelf. So this one tells the story of an orphaned, independent heroine who overcomes a harsh childhood to become a governess at the Thornfield Hall, where she falls in love with her brooding employer, Mr. Rochester, only to discover his dark secret, forcing her to choose between love and her principles. I mean, that sounds like a recipe for a good book, honestly. Like, I feel like the it almost feels like a forbidden love kind of situation, but maybe not in like your normal everyday sense of forbidden love, more so like, you know that this person is not good for you, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Which, speaking of which, I did just read a book that had a lot of that going into it. I'll talk about it in my reading wrap up, but that is Jeanette McCurdy's new book. That one is definitely, that's not even a forbidden love, that's just a forbidden mess. So the last classic that I have is going to be Carmilla, and this is going to be the one that I would like to purchase. I think the cover looks so beautiful. I am not hugely big on like vampire like books, but this I think is also like a vampire romance of sorts. And this is going to be by Sheridan Laffoy. I don't know, I'm gonna mispronounce it, so I do apologize. This book is a foundational work of vampire fiction that predates Dracula by 26 years and popularized the lesbian vampire trope, which is crazy. I did but last summer I did read this, and to think that this was like even able to exist because of things like Carmilla is just, that's crazy. That's really cool to think. So that is the plan there. But the story follows a young woman, Laura, in an isolated castle who forms an intense romantic friendship with the furious and beautiful Carmilla, who arrives after a carriage accident leading towards mysterious illness and decline as Carmilla preys on her. I'm looking forward to that. So those are all of the books that I plan to read this year. I'm very excited to get into all of them. I'm sure some of these will be in like reading vlogs and things like that, so I get to see as I experience that. If that is something that you would like for me to do, like if you would actually like me to make reading vlogs of these books, let me know in the comments down below. If there are specific ones you want to see, again, let me know in the comments down below as well. I do also want to add, when it comes to my nonfictions, I'm probably not going to read those physically. I'm more than likely going to listen to the audiobooks. That I have found is the only way I can truly consume those books and feel like I am able to follow along. So that is my plan for that, but I am so excited to get into it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Take care and bye-bye.